Sherlock Holmes Fanfiction. The Facets of Deception. On a dreary December night, Sherlock Holmes had a visitor whose distress was so intense that even my friend stopped playing his violin mid-tune. Inspector Lestrade appeared at the door, his hat crumpled in his hands and his moustache dampened by the fog. "A jeweller has been murdered in Clerkenwell," he announced. "His throat was cut, and no weapon has been discovered. Additionally, the most exquisite diamond in London disappeared that same night." Holmes's eyes sparkled with interest. "Ah," he said softly, "a crime that seeks admiration. Watson, grab your coat." The jewellery store of Edward Halcombe showed clear signs of a brutal burglary. The front display window was shattered, with glass dramatically strewn across the pavement, sparkling under the gaslights. Inside, velvet trays were overturned, and gold chains were tangled like snakes. Holmes paused at the entrance, observing the scene quietly. "Interesting," he finally remarked. "What is?" Lestrade inquired. "The glass," Holmes responded. "Most of it is outside the shop. The window was broken from the inside." Lestrade stared in surprise. "Are you suggesting it was staged?" "I am suggesting it was executed," Holmes clarified, "with an audience in mind." Halcombe was discovered in a back office, sitting upright in a chair with his hands loosely resting in his lap, as if he were waiting for a client. There were no indications of a struggle, no blood on the floor, just a thin, disturbingly neat cut across his throat. "A professional job," Lestrade murmured. "Or an amateur who was very well prepared," Holmes countered. "Look at the brandy glasses. There are 2 of them. They've been used recently." The investigation quickly focused on its first suspect, James Fowler, a former apprentice who had been let go months prior due to drunkenness and petty theft. Fowler had a motive, familiarity with the shop, and had been spotted in the vicinity that very evening. A clasp knife was discovered in his residence. Lestrade was content. Holmes, however, was not. "The blade is too dull," he remarked after inspecting the wound. "The cut is far too precise. Fowler would have used more force. Additionally, our victim shared brandy with his killer. Fowler prefers gin and has a strong dislike for brandy. He is a nuisance, not a murderer." Fowler was released the following day, loudly asserting his innocence to anyone who would hear him. A second theory quickly emerged. A Belgian diamond dealer, who had tried to buy the Star of Jaipur weeks before, had left London suddenly the morning after the murder. "A foreign thief," Lestrade announced. "Typical." Holmes shook his head. "The man has a limp," he noted. "Observe the carpet in the back office. There's no uneven pressure, no signs of hesitation. The killer stood there calmly for several minutes. Furthermore, he fled because he anticipated being suspected, not because he was guilty." Another hopeful lead vanished. During these events, Mrs. Margaret Halcombe remained a figure of quiet sorrow. She welcomed Holmes and me into her sitting room, dressed in black silk, her demeanor calm, her voice soft and steady. She asserted that she had spent the night of the murder with her sister in Hampstead, and this alibi was verified. Even I was touched by her composure. However, Holmes noticed details that others overlooked. She wore gloves even while indoors. Her morning attire was new, remarkably so. And when Holmes mentioned the Star of Jaipur, her fingers tightened momentarily around her handkerchief. "She is frightened," Holmes commented later as we walked back through the fog. But not of the police. The real crack in the case did not stem from the crime scene, but from Halcombe's documents. Holmes found that the jeweller had recently changed his will, significantly reducing his wife's inheritance. He had discovered her extensive and desperate gambling debts, as well as her plan to secretly sell the diamond and escape England with another man. She took the diamond earlier that evening, Holmes explained to me. The broken window was merely a distraction. But Halcombe returned unexpectedly. He confronted her, I said. Yes, quietly, politely, and with finality. He threatened to expose her, ruin her, send her to prison, and so she killed him. Not out of panic, Holmes replied, but with calculation. There was no knife. Hidden among Mrs. Halcombe's sewing supplies, Holmes found a length of ultra-fine diamond wire, the kind used by jewelers for precise cutting, almost invisible. Deadly when pulled tight, the brandy glasses revealed the rest of the story. She had poured with gloved hands, leaving no fingerprints. She had stood close, spoken softly, and ended the argument for good. The Star of Jaipur was found sewn into the lining of her mourning dress, the very outfit she wore while receiving condolences. When faced with the evidence, Mrs. Halcombe broke down. "I only intended to take the diamond," she cried, "but he would have ruined me." Holmes's voice was steady, almost tired. "You ruined yourself instead." As the police took her away, I turned to my friend. "You let everyone pursue false suspects," I said. "The apprentice, the dealer, even the window." Holmes nodded. "The most cunning criminals do not rely on concealing the truth, Watson, but on burying it beneath numerous believable lies." He looked once more at the darkened shop. "A diamond," he said, "reveals its true nature only when cut. So does the truth, when examined with enough patience." And with that, we vanished once more into the London fog. The end. For more videos, subscribe to the Fan Fiction channel.